It was the largest crowd I've ever spoken to. That was prior to the walk down to the Capitol building. I don't think, and I've spoken to hundreds of thousands of people, I've never spoken to a crowd as large as this. And that was because they thought the election was rigged. And they were there proud. They were there with love in their heart. That was an unbelievable, and it was a beautiful day.
That's Donald Trump last night in his CNN town hall calling January 6th a beautiful day. The event, of course, last night, full of lies, misleading statements. We'll go through the biggest ones and also his comments about writer E. Jean Carroll that drew laughs and cheers from the crowd. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Joe. It is Thursday, May 11th. With us, we've got the host of Way Too Early, White House Bureau Chief of Politico, Jonathan Lemire, former White House Director of Communications to President Obama, Jen Palmieri, presidential historian Jon Meacham, and congressional investigations reporter for The Washington Post, Jackie Alemany. Joe, we watched last night a rerun of what we saw in 2016 and what we saw throughout the Donald Trump's presidency. He committed again last night the claim that the election was rigged in 2020. It was not, of course. He called January 6th a beautiful day. He said he was going to pardon the people who attacked police officers on that day. The list goes on and on and on. Would not commit to supporting Ukraine in its war with Russia. We'll get into some of it, but frankly, no surprises in what we saw or what he said last night.
No surprises, and yet it was a disgraceful performance.
Yes.
I'm constantly telling people not to catastrophize over Trump, that he's actually going to lose because he keeps drilling down deeper and deeper into his base. But it is. I can't believe I'm going to use catastrophizing language here. But it was disgraceful on every level. It showed, I wouldn't say it's dangerous for democracy because we passed that a long time ago, but it showed the corrosive effects of Trumpism over 8 years. And I've got to say, the most shocking part was an audience who cheered on a president who tried to overturn American democracy, an audience that mocked and ridiculed a woman who a jury of her peers, Donald Trump's peers, found had been sexually assaulted. Those Americans there last night turned that into a punchline, laughed and dismissed cops getting the shit kicked out of them on January the 6th, beaten up over and over again, calling a cop a thug who actually was trying to stop people from the House floor from being killed. I just could go on and on, basically saying he would turn over Ukraine to Vladimir Putin. And it was on Jon Meacham on every front. You could go piece by piece by piece to talk about how breathtakingly dangerous what we saw was last night, this virus of lies that's been loosened on the American people. But what we saw last night was a propagandist. And it was a propagandist spewing lies repeatedly over and over and over and over and over again. And an audience, an American audience, lapping it up. This isn't Putin's Russia. This is Trump's slice of America. And what I saw last night, at least, was as chilling as anything I've seen on television since January the 6th.
Yeah, what we're looking at is that his reality has become our reality, and he has largely invented the way he sees the world. It's dark, it's dystopian, it's divisive. We're all the way back to I alone can fix it. I alone can save the country from this abyss. And it doesn't take a huge amount of imagination to see what he thinks is the abyss. And I think we're always 2 weeks away from chaos, right? That's the nature of humankind, of history. This should not be surprising to people. What it must be, however, is a reminder that if you believe in American democracy, if you believe in a rule of law that protects you and your neighbor, not just because it's the right thing to do, but because if your neighbor's protected, they're more likely to respect you. If you believe in that, then this is the choice. It's very clear. You and I can go on and we can talk about Jefferson and Madison and all of that, but it's very clear. If you believe in a country of decency and opportunity, you have a choice. If you believe in a country which is animated by grievance, you have your choice.
Yeah, you do. And I've got to say, again, as horrific as last night was, I'm just going to say the same thing I say every time he says something that veers off the cliff and is so counter to American tradition, the American Constitution, constitutional political norms. It will end up hurting him in the end. But Willie, listen, I do think, and I'm not going to sit here tonight and point fingers at anybody. It was a tough assignment. I will say, I hope reporters, journalists will look at what happened last night and see that as basically a preseason film about, and study it to see what needs to be avoided moving forward. There is, and we've said it before, you can't get past the first question until the first question is answered, which is Joe Biden president? Is Joe Biden president? You say the election was rigged. 63 federal judges, Mr. President, 63 federal judges all said you were lying. All said there was no widespread election fraud. 63. Your own Supreme Court, Mr. President, said you were lying, that there was no widespread fraud. Even Alito and Thomas wrote that there weren't enough votes, even if you took all of Trump's arguments, to change the outcome of Pennsylvania, which was the case before them at the time. A state that he brought up last night, Arizona, Willie, we've talked about it. How many recounts did Republican officials in Arizona make? They even sent out the cyberpunks who were going to rig the election for Trump. And the cyberpunks actually added to Biden's totals. Yep. Georgia, forgive me for being exhaustive. This is what everybody has to do. Georgia, Republican election officials repeatedly said that Donald Trump lost. The Trumpy governor of Georgia said it. The Trumpy Secretary of State in Georgia said it. It was so bad he recorded a phone call while Trump was telling him to throw out just enough votes for him to win. You don't ever get past that to talk about regulations or energy policy. You can't in 2024 as this election heats up. You just don't get there. And if you do ever get past that, then you've got to stay on January the 6th until that's exhausted. And it didn't happen last night. But again, that serves as a notice to the rest of us moving forward about what we need to do in 2024, because we're on notice. We've had 8 years of notice, and we cannot let him just spew lies nonstop in any interview or any town hall meeting.